Good morning. Give me one moment. Holy crap, flip-flops here on time. What the heck? How is this possible? All right. Let me pull up chat here. All right, should be good. Webull up, ready to go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Feeling nice and refreshed today. More so than I have been the last few days. All right, TSSI, I see that's moving. I will take a look at it here in just a moment. I just want to get everything in order. Nothing from yesterday is really holding up, so just gonna move them. All right, I don't think we need music to start, so I'll pause the music for the moment. If it seems like it's a slower day, I'll turn it on. But we don't need it on if it's going to be, we're going to actually have stuff. So TSSI moving. Looks like it's not qualified for me, unfortunately. It doesn't really meet my criteria. But let's take a look at it. So it does have news, 28 million shares, worth keeping on watch at least. All right. It popped up 12%. Nice. It's a nice move, but percentage-wise, it's not actually that impressive. But yes, good morning, folks. Good morning, Soul. Good morning, David. Good morning, No Thanks. Haven't seen you in a few days, No Thanks. Good day, sir. And of course, good morning, Flip Flop. Kayla's the only thing moving, but it's at 54 cents. Yeah, I remember Kayla as well. In the past, it's done things. And I don't even mean like this, but yeah, like way back here where it was grinding up. And I think even historically, Kayla has had some moves. It's not really showing here, but I remember trading Kayla a few years ago. So this is a name that's familiar to me back from my first year trading. So yeah, this one's an older one. He said something yesterday. I must have missed it then. There's so many people. My bad though, my bad. I will take your word for it. Good morning, Carl. Looking at the other stocks, we have Domo Arigato. 41 million shares. This one's been on a decline for a year. It started going up after hours yesterday. Okay, so earnings. So this is driven by earnings. TMDE. Not really anything too crazy. It moved up 2 days ago, but nothing else beyond that. It was a question about swing trading, and you answered. Okay, my bad then. Yeah, I remember I did talk about swing trading. Okay, fair enough. I will concede that I must have just forgotten your name in the mix of names. My apologies, sir. But yeah, TSSI moving okay. The chart, you have a bit of this gap fill, right? So you got to move up to 15. You had 4 shorts yesterday, so yeah, I'm up early and ready to pound it. Yeah, for those of you guys that saw me talk about like the paper trade from yesterday, just to give clarity, I did have like a 6-cent loss or something per share on it. It wasn't an executed trade, but it was a paper trade, so that would have been a small loser. And had I had been stubborn and decided to hold for like another hour, it would have turned into a max loss. So the system seems like it worked pretty well to protect me there. So if I would have taken it, it would have been like a 6-cent loss. It would have been like a little over $1 per share, or $1 total loss. But yeah, I don't really see anything. I mean, we have some stocks that are gapping up like 15, 18%, but they're just not getting volume or really doing anything. So it's probably just TSSI. And I mean, I guess Kayla. Probably should keep Kayla on watch at least. Man, 900 million shares though. That's ridiculous. 900 million. Yeah, Zendu's matching it too. It's just Kayla and TSSI for Zendu. Yep. Not surprised. But I think we're just chilling, unfortunately. This might just be another slower day. For those of you that are here now, I'll go ahead and put out a poll, since you guys are the OGs here. We'll do whatever gets majority. I'm fine with either or. All right, I'm kind of in the state where I wouldn't want to listen to music if it's an active day, but it doesn't really feel like it's that active. And if it's close to 50-50, I might just say no, honestly. We'll see what people say. We only got 2 votes. Good morning, Larry. Well, I think maybe just morning, because it does seem to be slower. CYN could be moving. Does it have news at least? It does have news. Okay, so we have news on this. To remove that. ACTG, check it out. I mean, this one has news too. No news on it yet. I'll keep ACTG and CYN both on charts on the side. They need more volume though. Good morning. And yes, me wants music. Well, I mean, we got 8 votes and we're literally split 50-50. How about this? We listened to music yesterday. You're split 50-50 for music, so how about we just not do music today? All right, does that seem fair? If it was closer, like, yeah, we even had majority now. Okay, yeah. All right, we'll go with no. We'll go with no for today. We listened to music yesterday. We won't listen today. Yeah, we can play our own music. Right, exactly. Yeah. No, that's totally fair. Yes, sir. Yeah, but it's It does seem like we are slowing down. Like what we had like a little bit of a Monday, and then that's kind of it. Tuesday was very strange. Like I looked at a lot of people did bad, and I kind of could have predicted that because a lot of stocks were just popping and then immediately failing. Like the failure rate was like 90%. It was abysmal. Only like one stock really held up. Like even Ross, he did pretty bad, right? His first 3 trades were red, and he was down like 6,000 until right at the end of the day. Yeah. So it's weird because we had a lot of pops, but just nothing holding. So it's not that there was a lack of catalyst. It was that there was a lack of conviction. Well, conviction, but also real strength, right? I mean, I shouldn't say opportunity like all opportunities are the same. If a company puts out just a random niche headline that doesn't mean anything, that shouldn't get momentum, right? So I guess I really should say there were no headlines that came out yesterday that had genuine strength behind them. Can I cry? Why is there nothing? Well, I mean, we got Kayla, right? We got 30-cent stock. Fun at parties. T-Swift or nothing. Serve, but I don't like it. I will be judged of that, flip-flop. It's so-so. It has earnings scheduled. That's what it says. Okay. So yeah, this is just earnings. I don't really know if I want to fight that. Kayla has no freaking range. Yeah, that's the problem with pennies too, right? Their range is questionable. CYN getting some follow-up here. We're actually getting some momentum. Yeah, you see it too. All right. Yeah, 100,000 volume there. All right, I will see if I can throw out some orders. This is worth considering. Okay. We are able to. Just reconfirming on daily. Good volume. All right, I've got 3 sets of orders out. We'll see if this gets any further momentum. Candyman in CYN. Well, I hope he makes money so I can enter. Okay, a little bit of a pop and drop there. See if it makes any continuation higher. Not nice to see it reverse that hard on the highest volume candle. But this is also high volume. like just in general, so that can be also good. Yeah, I was confident this was gonna move, but after seeing this now, I'm hesitant to say it's gonna make a move here. Yeah, the news isn't really anything too striking to me. Yeah, daily you have resistance around 209. Bounced here, rejected here. So 209, that probably matches up pretty close, right? Basically down to the penny. You're like 2 pennies off from 209. If it breaks through that, yeah, you're looking at like 245 for the next resistance. 245, 250. That lines up with where I'm looking to enter. All right. Currently only up 23%. Yeah. Very easy to borrow too, which is interesting. Come on, CYN. I'm iffy. Like, this is a downtrending stock. The news doesn't seem too great. You had this actually gap up before the volume even came in. So looking at it further, there actually is more red flags than I initially saw. So if this does move, I don't think it's going to move a lot. Or maybe I'll eat my words, but this doesn't read to me as something that's going to make a huge move. Yeah, it went to that back in July, but whenever it's super old like this is like, what, 9 months old or something? At that point, and I can check, but I don't tend to give as much credibility to moves that are that old whenever they're huge decliners, because typically that means dilution occurred between now and then. So the same structure that created this move might not be possible after that much time. Okay, so that was July. There was a shelf registration in last September. There was another S8 registration in this January, basically right at the start of February. I don't even get my entry signal anymore the last 3 days. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't trade yesterday, did I? No, I did trade on Monday. I took a trade Monday. No trades Tuesday. Latency, it's not that important, but it looks like it's about 20 seconds. Yeah, I do have it intentionally set up to have a slight latency. It's not much, but I did intend it to be slightly delayed. That is intentional. Yeah, I really want this to work out, but I'm probably like 65% bearish here. The one thing it does have going for it is this volume is lower here than on the push up. But knowing that we gapped up on no volume... By the way, this gap up was before the news came out. So possible front running here. We'll see. Yeah, looking at the level 2, it is pretty thick. Good volume there. Okay, maybe I'll be wrong. Honestly, I'll be happy if I'm wrong here. Actually see something move. So we broke $2. We went to that 209 area again. Yeah, high was 208. So 1 penny off of that resistance area. Let me do a check, see if there's still locates available. It's still shortable. Indeed. But yeah, I have an entry just under 240 prepped. It's a bit ambitious, but we'll see if it gets there. I really wanted to break through this level, because this is like the first key resistance at 209, 210. Okay. Third push up to that 208 area. You can tell it's very thick. This much volume and it only moving pennies shows how thick it is. I mean, the headline sounds strong, right? On track to sell more in Q1 than all of 2025. I mean, that's a strong headline. The issue is this has been most certainly diluted at some point in the last 9 months. So there's significant downward pressure, and you can see it just from looking. So we had a high at 207 here, 208 for these two. SXTP. Take a look at it. Because, yeah, it looks like it might go. It seems like it's just slower right now. Yeah, SXTP, very interesting chart on the daily. I do like it for me. I mean, that's a strong headline. All patients cured for baby see us after. Man, these words. I mean, it sounds like a strong headline. Yeah, CYN might be rolling over. I like that this popped down with little volume. Really signals that it could go higher. Let's see. Liquidation only. Yeah. Yeah, ACTG. That one just kind of fizzled out. Baby. This one might actually run a good bit. Seems like it has all the things in play to do it. Let's see. So there's a big resistance level around here from like 280 to around 320. So that's going to be a wall. There was a prospectus March 2nd. So a little over a week ago. There was another prospectus for more shares. Candyman is green on CYN and TSSI. I'm glad for him. This one looks like it could be strong. Generally rug pulley pattern. Yeah, I made the judgment call not to get in it because it did have this spike a little more than a month ago. Felt like that gave too much danger. If I would have went short, it would have been at 264 for an entry. We didn't get there anyway. We got close, but we didn't quite get there. I didn't like how quickly we approached it, knowing we had this prior spike. Didn't look favorable to me. I only made 0.2 R on Kayla this morning. And since then, nothing holds up or gives me an entry signal. I mean, this one looks interesting. It's only up 20% right now, which isn't a crazy amount. Out of curiosity, I guess I can check. Yeah, let me check just to see if this is shortable on Thinkorswim. So this is one, I could short it on Thinkorswim if I want to. If I do it, I want to be more conservative given how quickly this moved. It might even be over already, though. Yeah, so this is an instance where Thinkorswim let me trade it. Webull did not. It wouldn't have mattered because my entry wouldn't have got filled at 264 anyway. Well, how close was I? I was 253, so I would have been 11 cents off. Yeah, it's not great to see that we're getting big volume candles here with pushes down. Yeah, I don't like to see that. CYN kind of curling, though. The volume isn't crazy. I don't like this volume being lower than the prior moves. But it is curling nonetheless. I still do have my orders up. I actually forget where I placed them. I need to do that. I need to... What I could do maybe, because I removed my position so that way I could show my orders. But maybe what I could do is I could do it like this, where like I like cut it off to show you guys, but I actually have my limit order prices here, and I would just like hide them. That might be a way to do it so that I can see my price, my entry levels, without like compromising it. How do I? No, it'd be here. Yeah. Okay. There we go. All right, we're moving now, though. And I can see my prices that I have. So we'll see. I mean, we are getting volume that's higher now, so this is actually curling. Okay, okay. Good morning, Skivon. Longing the past 3 days feels like dodging mines in a minefield. It certainly does. Yeah, SXTP already all the way back. It's done a full retracement. All, like, straight back down. I still got my orders for CYN out. We're about 15 cents off of my entry, 15, 20 cents away. So it's got a little bit more work to do, but we're getting closer. I'm loving this volume inflow though. Back here where it was coming up and the volume was lower, not so much. And not only that, we broke through the 208 area. And we bounced right off of it. So really, holding above 208, I want to see it hold above this 208, really. That would signal more strength. Even more so if we don't test it a second time. Yeah, even holding there at 211, that's fine. You're trying for 235? I kid you not, flip-flop. My entry is at 236. So I'm in a similar area. But, I mean, it's got a little bit more it's got to do yet. You're in CYN at 160. Bought it last night. Okay. Sold at 190. So, I'm good. Good luck today. Okay. Next is LIS coming soon in time. You kind of missed a small scalp already. Yeah, I mean, this would have been a good one if you could have got it, but at the same time, it looked like here, it really looked like it might have just been the end. Oh man, SXTP though. Oof. I mean, it's rough. Curious to see if it'll go negative more. Okay, we did get a pop through. Why would you buy a CYN when there's literally no buy signal? I think that's kind of the point, right? It's like you can't really know. Like there isn't really a clean one. You could say maybe the volume declined here on this pullback, but it didn't look really promising. Small green on CYN? Good stuff, sir. Keep going, man. I believe in you. Keep going. Let me do another check. See if it's still shortable. It was easy to borrow, I believe, right? So it should still be, I should be able to short it pretty easily. Yeah, it's still 8%. So this is just a very easy borrow stock in general. No, but yesterday the ticker was illiquid with no signs of life whatsoever. What, this one? I mean, yeah, it's... What is it like on the daily for volume? I mean, there's some volume, like 300,000, 390,000. So there's actually volume here. All right, this might turn into something for me. Let's see. Oh, there's the rug. Oh, maybe. What is it up? I mean, it's only up 30% too, which is... That's not even that much. It did quickly recover. Like, this 208 level is critical, but I really hate to see that huge volume come through on that flush. It's so weird, though, that it would consolidate like this and then have a huge pump up like this, right? On more expensive tickers, I love to trade moves like that. On the cheaper ones, I have less wiggle room edge because the spread is too tight, efficient. Right. I mean, it's recovered. We've actually recovered it, surprisingly. We did a full recovery from this apparent flush. This could have been a shakeout. It's like... The volume was very clearly, there was a huge jump in volume that pushed this down. And then for it to just miraculously recover from that with similar volume it just feels suspicious. Broke my rule and held through the dip. Was sweating it out, but got green, thank goodness. Well, I mean, I'm glad you're green, but I mean, that's a pretty big red flag, right? You broke your rule and held through it, because, like, what would have happened if this didn't bounce? Like, what would have happened if this just kept selling off? What if this turned into SXTP and you just kept sweating and holding, you know? I mean, I'm glad you made money and it worked, but that's something you got to always be aware of. Like, it worked this time. But yeah, just food for thought. What was the high? High was 25. Yeah. We passed the half hour and I didn't even realize, just because just looking at these two stocks and nothing else really. Man, this one really has grinded slower, and you can tell from the level too. It's just so much thick, so much more thickly traded. Seeing it rug like this, then recover, and now stabilizing here. It feels like someone bigger is intentionally moving it this way. That's kind of my read. And if I'm being honest, this headline really doesn't strike me as that impressive. You gotta smash out when things are not holding, or you add because you sized accordingly to be able to add there. Right, it's one thing if you said, if it was gonna jackknife down and then stabilize, then I would buy here. Like, right, if you pre-plan, that's always the thing. If you pre-plan something and do it, then you could say the strategy was bad. But if you don't plan something and then you get bailed out, then it becomes like a psychological, right? If your plan was to hold through that knife, then I could at least say, okay, maybe your plan isn't good, or maybe you should think about the plan. But I would then say, okay, you followed your rules. Fair enough. Yeah, it's really holding at this 208 level. I'm still holding out for it, right? I had the orders out. I didn't cancel them yet, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, this thing looks like it's over. It's not going to 230, 240. But I mean, here we are now, and it's looking, right? 230.40 looks very, very possible now, right? I'd say like maybe a 40% chance it gets there. YNZ. MYNZ moving. Generally trending down. It's kind of cheap though. So they're like changing their name to Quantum Cyber. And they're changing their ticker to QC. Okay. Very cool, I guess. Whatever. You know, I didn't think about it, but let me check something. So SXTP started moving at 720. We'll call it 724. So 724 is when SXTP started moving. 724 was whenever this finally started. That's actually when this rug happened. So this rug happened the same minute SXTP started moving. And when SXTP started dying, we'll say that it was officially dying at around here. So right at around 730, we'll say 732 is where it was officially dead. So 732 was the exact moment CYN started to move. Now that's very interesting. I wonder if that's a coincidence. So CYN pulled back and flatlined here when SXTP moved, but when SXTP failed, that's whenever CYN moved. Well, we'll see. Yeah, we're kind of grinding down here. It looks almost like someone is making a ceiling. Liquidity shifting. I mean, yeah, it's jumping from stock to stock for whatever moves, certainly. I mean, if that's the case, then maybe around 8 o'clock we might see this pull back again. We've got a little bit of time till the top of the hour, though, but I don't really like that this has been making a lower high for what's essentially been 8 minutes in a row now. But on the flip side, it did this very weird rug into a recovery, so I'm also not ruling out that there could be someone trying to psychologically mess with people here. Right? This pullback has been on lower volume. So I'm not really ruling anything out here. This looks bearish, but there are some bullish signals. I think I'm 50-50 if this is going up or down. I don't really think this is that bearish. So thickly traded. Looking at the level 2 doesn't tell me anything. Good time for lunch if nothing's moving. Yeah. Certainly. Okay, we're back to 210. So, okay, we got our first 1 minute high. See if it resolves into anything. Larry's in at 209. He hasn't said he left yet, so I'm assuming he's still holding. How's this look on the 5 minute here? I mean, 5 minute looks pretty stable, right? You based out, second leg basing out. So it looks pretty stable. Yes, you're holding. Good luck, sir. Yeah, I'm still like 50-50. Like this certainly has potential to move. Am I the only one that ever feels sometimes that whenever you get in a stock, it feels like the price is moving based off where you entered? Like say I buy at 209. It almost feels like price is hovering around 209. Like anytime price does anything, it's relative to where I bought. Am I the only one that feels that way? Good morning, sir. How has the morning been? I mean, we had CYN. This one's kind of a more crowded, slower mover. We had SXTP, which was basically a pump and dump. I mean, speaking of which, it is having a pop here. But, yeah, Proton Junkie saying yes. Yes, sir. Yeah. Curious if this popping will cause CYN to drop now. If people might rotate back to it. CYN is thickly traded. Anything else pops up, then price is likely to drop again. Yeah, we'll see if this does it. SXTP does the same thing SKYE did yesterday. Watch. You're out. Oof. Yeah. Probably going to take out the hide then dump. I mean, this was a pretty interesting recovery, right? 185 up to 225. I mean, that's a 40-point swing, or 40-cent swing. MYNZ also moving to now. You're back over $1. Is this one shortable? Should I even consider it? It is shortable. Let me look. I mean, daily's okay. I should consider this one, I suppose. I'll go ahead and throw some orders out for this. It might already be coming back down. It's good volume though. But yeah. SXTP looks like it might just be rolling back. You're in at 1010. What was the peak? Basically 1010, so you hammered it there. My first entry was looking to be around 124. Covered for a quick 10 cents. Yeah, I was looking for a bit more. It feels like almost everything either pops 20% or 10, 100, 200%. There's no in-between days like today. Yeah. And that's like the big danger, right? Especially with where I'm posturing to short. I'm really trying to avoid the parabolic ones. And I mean, you're noticing maybe too that I'm like putting out orders, but I'm being too conservative to get filled on a lot of them, it seems. But that's also just part of the expectation, right? I knew this strategy would have a lot of no-fills. So I'm not blaming the strategy for that. But it seems like in periods like right now, like these lukewarm environments are just not giving the greatest results. SHMD. This one's a very clear uptrend. I'm not going to mess with this one. Christmas trees this morning, dang. Yeah, there certainly are some Christmas trees. We'll see if CYN curls. I don't like that there was that much volume on this final drop. Like everything up to here, like even now after this, like the volume is still low. So like, and honestly, even after this drop, it's not quite as much as the moves up here. So this could still certainly recover, but I'm losing faith. Yeah, 1 minute till 8. Hopefully something. Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. All right, 8 o'clock. Let's see it. Let's see this news come out. MYNZ is going to the depths, so I'm going to cancel my orders for this one. Because I don't see this going to 120s now. The thing is, though, with like the fact that I'm being too conservative with a lot of these, the real punishment is just that I don't get a fill, right? If I'm too aggressive, then, you know, I eat a max loss or something. Or I just eat a big loss. NBIG is moving. NBIS is also moving. Okay, so NBIG is just a derivative of NBIS. Yeah, so this is just a derivative. Still could trade it, though. But I need to look at NBIS. Okay, and NVIDIA and Nebius partner to scale full stack AI cloud. I mean, that sounds like a strong catalyst. Right, uptrending stock. Probably don't want to mess with that. Seems like it has potential. Am I even able to short this? I am able to short it. SGN extended into yesterday's high. All these penny stocks. Yeah, this one is kind of shooting up. I just wish it wasn't so cheap. Oh. You see why I'm kind of stabilizing it too. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of derivatives moving for NBIS. That's a rhyme, yeah. Today, screwing with your head. All these 20% moves, it makes me get out quick. And then MYZN, I cover for 10 cents instead of the 30 cents. Yeah, no, there's just nothing's moving enough for me to want to get short. Like, I've put 2 orders out for stocks that I would have been interested in, but they're just not moving enough. All right, you're getting like 20%, 30% moves, and it's risky to short at those levels. I got 3 trades ready for this account. I'm ready to start blasting them, but I'll only blast if there's something worth blasting. Interesting how the volume here is higher than when it was pulling back. All right, you had a huge volume spike that pushed it down. Now it's kind of ranging here. HMD. Yeah, this one's curling pretty well, actually. I like there's more volume on the curl attempt, too. Double top. Basically, it's down to the penny, too. 788, 787. So 1 penny below the top here. Stuffy boy again. At this rate, I start short. This rate, I start shorting again, and at least then we have a hot market again. Should you sacrifice yourself? Well, don't do that. NXPL cheapo. Yeah, that one's moving, but like you said, it's pretty cheap. SCNX is also moving. It's also a penny stock. It's getting some volume here, though. Yeah, we're having a lot of penny stocks moving. SGN, SCNX, NXPL. We're seeing a lot of penny stocks moving. But just nothing. I really want stocks between $1 and like $8. That's really the range I'm looking for. And we're just, and realistically, I would actually prefer probably $2. Between $2 and $8 would be more ideal. We're just not really seeing that. They might just be, this might just be another day to chalk up to unideal stocks for me. Collab between small cap riggers and brokers. Let's make the cheapos run more, so that way traders spend more money on fees. Conspiracy confirmed. And XPL, you shorted at 62. Shorted on a penny, huh? Even flip-flop's getting desperate. We got an $820,000 satellite contract. I mean, it seems like pretty good news, honestly. I feel like this should run on that. Desperate times call for desperate measures. You're crazy, flip-flop. You're crazy, man. Is this shortable for me? If this goes over $1, I could consider it. But okay, yeah, it's been a penny stock too long. I can't even short it. That's fair. You'll add at 75. This thing's kind of just been going parabolic. You look at the volume, it's just been incrementally increasing. And we're having like an exponential right now. But when it does reverse, I would expect it to reverse pretty hard. Yeah, looking at daily, you got clear resistance around like 72, 73 cents. We're basically right at it, actually. Beyond this, you're probably looking at maybe 95 cents, followed by the full $1. So if this ends up breaking out, I would expect this to maybe run to 95. Which is honestly kind of insane, if that would happen. Okay, first 1 minute low, quickly recovered. So you had pretty huge volume on this red candle. I don't know, like I mean, this has been a pretty parabolic move too. This might be the top. Second pretty heavy volume candle. So both of these pullback candles have been pretty big volume. This surge up is on lighter volume. Interesting. Seems like a discrepancy here. But fair enough. I'm going to go ahead and cancel my CYN orders. This is, I mean, the odds that this goes to like 240 plus is much lower now with the time we have left. Don't think it's worth keeping the orders anymore. The thing that sucks too is by the time this gets to $1 where I could even enter my positions, like the locates might already be gone. What is the shares outstanding on this? Is it at least high? It's 26 million. I mean, that's high, but that's not, I don't know, I might run out of shares. It's tease and flip-flop with his entry. This has honestly been like a pretty slow day overall so far. Honestly. I'll go through and throttle. I'll see how people are doing. You tried to get the 73s, but no fill. You might get another chance here. Let's see. Very surprising. I'm wondering what you guys traded, honestly. I mean, what, just... I mean, I guess CYN gave a little bit of potential here at the very start. Like, this one kind of came out of nowhere. But you could have traded the front of this, I suppose. You were having some range, like 187 to 210 or 208. So you were having like a 20, 30 cent range here. I'm the king of no fills. I missed about 10 fills this week. You think you got it bad? I guess you could have traded SXTP as well on the front side. But like there was so much risk to this one. Yeah, this one's kind of acting weird. Like it almost seems like it's recovering. Two big spike candles here too. One of my thoughts on DJ Momo's new paid monthly subscription. Is it new? I mean, I know about his like $9 one he does or whatever. It used to be 12. Are you referring to something else, or are you just talking about that one? The $9 for the Discord server. MPT showing up on the Momo screener several weeks back. MPT took a couple hundred from me. SYN red, SXTP green. I'm curious if this one, yeah, this one's kind of moving again. Right, looking at the daily, yeah, we kind of had this thing grind back up. Yeah, very interesting that this actually ended up, after the pump and dump, it actually didn't go lower. And then we actually got another leg that actually sustained this time. Interesting. Yes, KYE. I didn't actually look at this one. So what exactly happened that you're saying happened here? Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, so this one rugged and then made a second leg and then rugged, but then like kind of creeped. I can kind of see it. Yeah. I think DJ is using a sim. What do you think? Yeah, he's using a sim. Yeah, that's a simulator. At least from the time when I was watching him before, it was a simulator. And I don't think he's switched. I mean, given what he's doing, I think it's almost certain in my head that he hasn't switched. In XP. Yeah. You covered a 64 for a 2-cent loss. For a loss? How could you? You could have covered for almost break even. I mean, this one's just a penny stock, you know? Like, it's crazy, too. You say it's moving so slow, but honestly, like, I mean, this thing went up, like, what, 50%? And we'll call it 30 minutes, it went up 50%. So, like, percentage-wise, it's impressive. But if you're talking on a cent level, like what dollar value it's moved, it's been abysmal, right? You're talking like maybe like a 15-cent move in 30 minutes. I mean, you could size up, I guess, but crossing the spread is more damaging at these levels. Yeah, he lost like 10K on 2 consecutive days, and it doesn't seem to be mildly upset about it. Well, no, he's fabricating the numbers. Like, the 2 days that he lost, he underreported them both by about 50%. Said he made it back off stream, but what he's reporting the next day isn't matching what he's saying he made back. That's the problem. And also on top of that, of course, I could lose money on stream and say, don't worry, guys. Trust me, bro. I made it back off stream. I mean, you can trust me, sure. But in terms of actually saying, yeah, the trading captain is profitable, if I do something off stream and then I just say, trust me, bro, like that's... And we're talking like thousands of dollars, too, with what happened with him. I'm 100,000% convinced. That's very convinced. I'm 100,000% convinced small cap action is garbage lately because the overall market cannot freaking decide which way it wants to go. I mean, sort of, right? Like, if there's companies that are reporting genuinely productive news, then that will tend to escalate momentum. I would say that more often, like there's a correlation, like it's not causation, but typically when the market is moving in a direction, there's reasons why it's moving. And then if a small cap stock puts out news related to why the general market is moving, that will create momentum, right? There is a bigger correlation. But the thing is like, look at it this way. The market could be going flat. There's nothing going on in the general, like S&P 500 or whatever. But a company says, hey, we found a cure for cancer. You know, like that's, it doesn't matter at that point what the general market's doing. The company itself put out genuinely good news. Vice versa, a company could put out bad news and it doesn't matter how good the market is, that news is bad. So the odds that the stock moves are lower. Right? The market moving just tends to give an extra reason for kind of like themes. Right? You've got the defense theme, you had the energy, the oil theme, right? The current events gives news themes. But yeah, I would say there is a correlation, but it isn't causation. Think of it this way. Let's say, right, with the Iran war, if the small cap companies aren't putting out news related to the Iran war, it doesn't get any influence or amplification from that. Head and Shoulders, NXPL, she going down? Maybe. You have heavier volume on this downward pressure. You've got lighter volume on the move up. That looks bearish to me. It would have been a win if I got the fills above 70, but that's trading. So many fills, so many no fills. Yeah. If we would push all-time high every day, then there would be immense liquidity influx in small caps from algos putting more risk on. I mean, that does make some level of sense. So you're saying that it's not even a fundamental thing. It's just algos identifying that there is a trend, therefore... Or, I mean, I'm wondering how would that work in a downtrending market then? Because like if what you're saying is true, then wouldn't it be the case that in a bear market you would see no activity in small caps? But that doesn't seem really to be the case, right? We've seen instances where there's been huge bearish catalysts that drive the market down, but you still see small caps do well. Right? Like I would argue against you and say, if they're risk off in a bear market, why are stocks still hot sometimes and small caps in a bear market? Because if it's purely risk on, risk off, that doesn't really hold up, I think. What do you think of that? We are coming up on the half hour, by the way. So fingers crossed for just something. Please, anything. Not necessarily. It's more volatility based. Right now, we are trading tight with no direction. Okay. So you're not saying it's necessarily stocks moving up, therefore risk on. You're saying stocks moving up, therefore volatility, therefore risk on. Right. So like if we look at the SPY right now, you look at the yearly, right? It looks like like this is the biggest flattening. Like it's just kind of it's surprising how much this has curved and become flat. So you're saying it's more so there's just the last few months it's been the flattening that's caused the hands off. And actually that does kind of line up because this flattening started around, we'll say the start of November maybe. And that's really where the momentum slowed down. It was the end of October, start of November where the momentum stopped. OBAI. This is one of the new recent IPO that just kind of flatlined. I can't trade this one. It goes against my rules, but we'll see if it's shortable. Yeah, it's not even shortable. Okay, so nothing to even think about there. Yeah, this one's a recent IPO, so I can't short it. That's goes against my strategy anyway. Yeah, just more force in any direction. Exactly, yeah. Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, if they're looking for just general volatility, that does make more sense. Yeah, I can respect that argument. I think it holds up. Okay, we got the half hour here. We'll see if we get anything. Yeah, the SPY has been suspiciously sideways, though. I don't think it's... I'm trying to think of the last time the SPY has really been flat like this. Right, because this is super flat. Right, you're talking about a instance where the SPY is the same price as it was back in like November. So you're talking almost 3 to 4 months of sideways action on the SPY. I mean, you could be starting to see the potential of a downtrend, but yeah, it's been very, very flat. NXPL. What happened with it? I set my short for 72 cents. Are they watching me? Oh no. Where was it at? 71.66. Yeah. I have to stop trying on this ticker. No, I feel it, man. It's the curse, right? It's the curse of using limit orders. They just go within 1 penny of you, and then they're just like, nah. Actually, nah. Okay, we got a pretty even distribution. A little bit more people traded than not, but there is still a significant amount of people that have not traded. This OBAI just kind of popped and dropped. It did have news, but I guess the news didn't really mean much. DCOY. This one's also a recent IPO or reverse. This is a merger or a new IPO. Super low float, allegedly. Looking at the level 2, it does look pretty thin. They had a prospectus. Oh yeah, this is an older company. Way older. Why am I not seeing it on the chart? Okay, yeah, so this was a reverse merger or something, because... Yeah, I'm only seeing back to January, but this is way older than January. Calling it quits for today. Been at this since 6 a.m. Just getting nowhere. I'm gonna go make some breakfast and get ready for the market open. Well, you have a good one, Flip Flop. I don't blame you. Yeah, it's been something, hasn't it? Hopefully your word in God's ear, or however saying it goes. Spy will squeeze up. I mean, I hope so. Right, I hope it does something, because... Yeah, I mean, Tristan could be onto something there. With how volatility might be impacting aggression. SLRX. Thank you. Yes. Okay, this gives me a much better picture then. So interesting, it popped up the 2 final days before the merger or ticker change or whatever. But yeah, this one's one that just kind of was bleeding off in the past. Yeah, this one's a really... Okay, this is a death spiral. That does actually change my prescription a good bit. This would need to move, but I think I'd be more on board considering what I know. I would reduce size. It's a bit more pricey, plus lower shares outstanding. Am I even going to be able to short it is a good question. If it's that low inventory. Yeah, I can't even short it. So did I just like choose a terrible time to start a YouTube channel then? Because that's when I started streaming, wasn't it? Wasn't it like around November, October I started streaming? So if the market just has been colder because of the general market getting more flat, then I just like was really terrible with my timing. Okay, looks like Candyman has a little bit of green. Check in on DJ. There's no bad time to start. No, yeah, certainly. But there are times that are better than others. Frustrating week so far. Red on Monday, green yesterday, barely green today. I really should consider shorting again. But what would you be shorting this though? Because I feel like a lot of these stocks aren't moving that much. I mean, unless you're going to short pennies. You're going to short penny stocks? Oh, maybe the market is colder because of me? Maybe. Don't worry, guys. Let me just stop streaming for like a week and the market will heat back up. No, more structure needed than just scalp it. No comma. Yeah, no structure. More structure needed. Yeah. I started trading at the end of August. From early October to now has only been like one hot month. So much hate. Yeah. Yeah. Last summer was a beautiful, beautiful month. And like, that was kind of the conviction that led me to start the channel. I'm like, man, it's so hot. I crushed it. I think it was July. I crushed it over $1,000 from day trading, right? Not even from just my strategy, but from day trading. It was a huge, huge month in July. And then it just all went away. Like it just disappeared. Ridiculous. Yeah, I think between October and now, the only good month we've had was January. January was pretty good. It was fairly warm, honestly. Right, I had good results too from it, but like it was an okay month. I just want it to be a hot market again so I can go full size into everything and feel the green. Of course. We all want that. Hoping that learning in a cold market will help me do better when things heat up. I think it does. I think for a new person, it is much better for them to go into a cold market than a hot market. A good example was Vadim. He was a new trader. He started in... I don't remember exactly when. Like, I think it was like early 2025 he started. And he was like, he went basically real early on, he went into the hot market. And he did well his like first month or two. He was really trading aggressive. He was holding his losers. He was getting rewarded for it because the stocks kept going higher. But then when the market cooled, he just kept getting hit with like big loss after big loss. Right? He lost like 90% of his account twice. And I mean, I don't know if he gave up. Like he stopped posting like a few weeks or a month ago. But yeah, that's kind of what happens if you go into the market when it's hot and then it cools down. You don't understand that the market gives, like, look at it this way. When the fact we're seeing like the best mover that is over $1 is like only giving like a 20% return, and you're having like 6 penny stocks that are moving, like this is not really the market to be trading, at least for my strategy. If you trade pennies, fair enough, but to me, it just feels like it's a lot harder to trade these kind of moves. Historically, I don't have an edge trading sub $1 stocks. I'm gonna push it super hard once we have continuous hotness again. The key is just to survive the slow markets. And the thing is too, is like you have like spurts, right? With the Iran war that started, you had spurts where like defense sector or energy or oil, like you had these spurts where they were doing well, but it wasn't holding up over a long period, right? And it kind of fizzled out quickly. Like energy and oil sectors aren't really making big moves anymore. All right, that dried up very quickly. This does have news. So they changed their name. as the company moves into AI and robotics. Okay. I actually should maybe consider this one. At least map it out. Because it's getting some momentum. Yeah, I can't short it on Webull. Let me check on Thinkorswim. I am able to on Thinkorswim. Fair enough. I will go ahead and actually mark it out then. Yeah, I really need a better way to do it than this, because very unprofessional to have to like hide the stream. It just feels wrong, you know. All right. Okay, I did mark out some levels. And I could actually even show them here just to like show that I am marking them out, but yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, you can see I have them marked out for Thinkorswim. I was able to place orders for Thinkorswim, but not for Webull for this stock. So I do have some orders placed. I actually came pretty close to filling even on just the first order. But yeah, a name change isn't that big a deal to me. Yeah, maybe this just rolls over immediately now, huh? I think I might, that's what I might do today. I might commit today to modifying my setup so that I can switch more freely between the two formats without having to just go to hiding the screen. RIP to all the chasing longs buying every fresh push in this environment. No, yeah, for real though, honestly, Tristan, you're so right. Like, this is... They're just immediately rolling over. Good morning, me name. Good morning, sir. Yeah, this is so sad. So I've basically attempted 3 different stocks, and just all 3 of them are not really doing anything noteworthy. This would have been a nice short too. If I would have got this, right, 230s down to 180s. I mean, even that alone would have been decent. FYI, I didn't get a chance to mention because I was late today, but CYN was something I entered at 702. Got out at 198. Good stuff. Very nice. Fellas, never thought I'd say it, but it looks like penny stocks are king at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels that way. Well, penny stocks are more speculative, and whenever there's nothing moving that is higher quality, people default to the penny stocks. right? There's a reason why like 7+ penny stocks have moved today. Man, F-tail just really, really sucking though. Straight up selling off. Well said, penny stocks are speculative. Yes, they certainly are. Or at least to me, I think they are. They're a lot less grounded. I mean, by their very nature, the fact that company can't keep their price above $1 should say a lot about the nature of the company. I'm watching Soar. It's too cheap to recommend for anything serious. It bounced off yesterday's low. Manipulation, not real. Manipulation? There's no manipulation in the market. Soar. Are you talking about this or oh no. You're talking about, I guess, this. Now, can I cancel my order from here? No, okay, I'd have to actually manually click them. Do I even keep the orders up? I guess I keep them up for now. There's no harm in keeping them up. I just gotta get rid of them afterward. As it turns out, my strategy is perfectly positioned to avoid all the garbage in the slower environment. But I just found this out from the last 5 months of forward testing. Well, there you go. The 5-minute candle at 8:15. Five-minute candle. 8:15, what day? Sorry, I was referring to that, yeah, but like where? 8:15 for what? What, this? Still holding CYN for the last of my position. Yeah, I mean, I had orders out for CYN, but it just didn't do what I wanted. It didn't do what I wanted it to do. I wanted it to go to around like 230, 240, and it was close. It actually got kind of close. And even now, honestly, even now, it's holding pretty well, right? You're having a very, very slow forming. So respect it now. Your entrants are too top ticky, so you don't get the fills. In this environment, yeah. As for me, though, like, the reality is just that these stocks aren't moving enough, right? This didn't move enough. It's not a matter of I was too conservative. It's just that this market is too cold. And the issue with shorting, especially, is if you start getting too aggressive and you're shorting too early, that's where you start getting the big losers. Right? If you short a stock when it's only up 30% and then it goes up 100%. That's where you get eviscerated. And I would say maybe these kind of markets are the hardest too, especially for shorting, because when you're kind of flipping between days where you might get a couple 100% movers and then days where it's just dry like this and there's nothing, that can be the most dangerous for making you want to get too antsy. Yep, of course, I totally get that. Been shorting for 4 years. Okay, yeah, so you get where I'm talking. Yeah. Man, F-Tail really just completely fell apart. Man, this would have been such a great short. Okay. It is what it is. At this point, the rain bet has better odds than the pre-market lately. Yeah, it feels like it's a coin flip a lot of these times. Right, February, and we got to remember too, February was probably one of the worst months we've had in a while. And we came out of February what looked like was swinging strong, right? We had the Iran war thing. What was it? BATL did really well. Turb did really well. There was a couple other follow-ups for like defense sector stocks that did well. And we had that for like 2 or 3 days. And then it just evaporated. And this could play into what Tristan was saying too, where maybe the market was almost anticipating a bear market, right? So anticipating the volatility, and maybe they overreacted, right? Because SPY ended up going flat. The Iran war doesn't really seem to be spanning into the war people thought. So that could be one factor why stocks like BATL did very well, but then ended up being inversely related to oil. Am I involved with any oil longs except no, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think I'm in any oil positions. In November, we at least had all these Chinese foreign late day runners were all short sale restriction. Yeah, we had some really parabolic movers with the Chinese sector. We had SMX that did really well. GLTO. Still kicking yourself for selling your Rocket Lab. Well, that's hindsight for you. But I was thinking about doing something different. I've noticed this happening a lot. I'm going to stay a little later today. tell me what you guys think, but has it been the case that you've observed where it feels like the last few weeks stocks have been moving between 9 and 9:15 more? Or rather, I'd even say 9 and 9:20, because like I've noticed there's been more instances of stocks coming out at 9 or coming out at 9:15 as opposed to normal. You sold it for $10 a share, and that would have been up like an extra $40 a share. That's a lot. Wow. Yeah, and market open. Yep, same observation, and after market open. Yeah. Well, I can consider staying then. I'll stay till a little after 9:15. But I do have to go for market open. I am going to cancel my FTEL orders. These are just, they're not doing anything. I agree. It's part of the reason why I don't buy things between 8 and 9. Algos kick in between 9 and 9:30 pretty regularly. The only issue I'm thinking may come up is if I'm shorting something at 9:20, I don't want to be holding into market open. So I really am limited to only about 10 minutes of exposure time, right? And that opens myself up to more variance. Right, because if the general trend is down for the criteria I'm looking for, then if I'm holding less long, I don't meet that longer term average as much. Watch the price action on CYN as it gets closer to 9:30. You will see it spike, a spike occur to set up for the open. Maybe. I've seen it many times where, and I'm sure you guys can relate, like a stock, we'll just assume this is market open, right? Like assume that this here is market open. You'll see the stock grind up and do one pattern leading up to market open. Then right at market open, it will change and then just sell off. Like I've seen this many, many times, and it's quite frankly very blatant. If one comes up, I'll let you know. I'm not trading right now, so I'll just watch CYN. All right. Yeah, we're at 9 o'clock. I'll stay till around, we'll say 9:20. And if I see nothing by 9:20, then I'm going to book it. Liquidity grab, yeah. I mean, you push the price up on low volume, low liquidity, and then when market opens and all of the main people come in, then that's when you hit it with the flushes. Bingo. The change of character is pretty spot on based on what you said. It happens a lot. Yeah, it does seem to happen a lot. What was it? Let me see if I can... Was it Ruby? No. No, it wasn't that. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a good example I remembered, but I can't remember the ticker. All of the tickers blend together. All right, Seb is coming up on Zendu. mean, it's kind of moving with a little volume. No news. This one's been actually curling up for several weeks now. Yeah, they need to get it up until market open, then dump. I mean, it makes logical sense, but I mean, right now it feels like they're not even pumping it up pre-market. They're trying to pump it pre-market, and they're just not getting anyone in, or they're getting shorts or something. And they're just like, screw this. Why are we pumping this if we're just getting hammered by shorts? Oh, very nice, Fev. Just immediate drop, 60 cents. What is the spread on this? Yeah, you got a 60-cent spread. Curious, was this shortable? Oh my god, look at that borrow fee. Holy crap. Almost 700% borrow fee. How is there even shares to locate if it's that high? Yeah, the recent pumps in pre-market all fail. But again, if you got a strategy that weeds out all the garbage and only trades continuation, you're pretty well off. Right, and like conversely for me, like my strategy works, but I need stocks to move so I can short into them. If I'm only shorting into a stock that's only up 20%, I have huge upside risk. Right? So it sucks I'm not taking trades, but I just can't. The risk is way too high for me to be trading to entering short into stocks that are only moving like 20%. That's way too risky. Right, you get a big inverse if I do that. If I were shorting stocks like that, I might be like winning. I'd probably have like an 80% win rate today. Like I could have shorted all these stocks and I would have won like 80, 90% of them. But then I get one loser, and one loser probably wipes out. Like if it goes up 100%, one loser will wipe out 5 winners. Like that distribution is like incredibly unbalanced. Yeah, CYN, I don't know. Like, I just think it's genuinely just holding up here. It will be interesting to see if this does different behavior at market open, like if this just immediately dumps all the way back. Because then maybe you could argue someone is just holding it here. They're just trying to get it to market open and holding at this price. I suppose you could argue that. Man, even at 9 o'clock, there's nothing. Even at 9. Well, I came, I saw, I almost fell asleep. And then I'll do the same thing tomorrow, I suppose. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's raining super hard out right now. I'll do one more poll just as like a follow-up to the last one. We'll do this as like a final poll just to see how people have done that have stuck around here. Okay, that's pretty crazy. A three-way split. TRNR. Okay, this means this is a great failing setup for me. Completes acquisition. Okay. Can only be liquidated. Let me check on Thinkorswim. One moment. Yeah, okay, so this one's also a Thinkorswim exclusive. Place out orders here. All right. Okay, we're back. Yeah, that's what I'll need to work on today. I'll have to work on setting it up so I can just place the orders without having to do that. But don't worry, we popped up just to immediately roll over because that is the theme. So I'm not even really surprised if it's gonna do that. You can see, just for the time being, you can see where my orders are placed at. And it's still got work to do to get there. Red CYN, green SXTP, and green on XPL. So you were red. Oh, okay. Gotcha. And XPL, so you chose the penny stock. You chose the dark side. The pennies. The gambling casino. How much did this even go up? Like, this is barely even up, right? Yeah, it's up 1%. Okay, guys, I'm gonna short it. It's up 1%. Red SCNX. That's a penny, right? Yeah, that was a penny. Also, note to self for me, I am able to remove these orders, so like you won't be able to see them. So I'll have them removed so that won't be visible next time. This is one of the saddest days in a while right now. The biggest gainer is the 50%. But even then, the 50% gainer is a penny stock. Right? This isn't even like 50% doesn't carry as much weight when it's a penny stock that was 30 cents. WRAP is popping. Does have news. Secures Canada drone pre-order. I mean, that seems like good news. $50 million more shares though. And now it's thundering. Spooky. As no one is watching the news, so it's just a Momo market. I mean, to me, it seems like this should be a good catalyst. But, I mean, you're not wrong too. Yeah, so 50% of people here roughly haven't traded. Not surprised. And I mean, if you did trade, the odds you traded a penny are probably pretty high. But still, we did have stocks that popped up, right? We had Wrap pop up. We had that other one that I placed an order out for, TRNR, I think it was. Right? And this one did meet my criteria. It just didn't move. I mean, yeah, you just had an immediate rejection. Yeah. And I think this is symbolic, right? The fact that we're just seeing them immediately fail, it's just saying no one wants to engage with them. Right? Algos, individual traders, momentum traders, doesn't matter. No one's wanting to engage with this right now. By the way, I traded SGN before. It's a pretty garbage ticker. I mean, if it's a penny stock, the odds it's a garbage ticker are on the upper end of the spectrum. I am inherently biased against penny stocks, like actual sub $1 penny stocks. I generally do not treat them with very high regard. Does that make me racist against sub $1 stocks? Maybe. Called the liquidity sweep on SGN earlier. How dare I be a stockist? Hey, look, all I'm saying is some stocks are superior to others. Is that so hard to accept? Not all stocks are created equal. Swipe the high, say goodbye. I think I'm just gonna have to chalk this one up to another no trade. Like, there's nothing here. VELO. Is that anything? No, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, I think. I don't really see anything else even worth looking at. We've only got 10 minutes till market open anyway, so I wouldn't really be able to get in a trade in this amount of time. So I'll go ahead and end it here. No trade day again. Big sad, but not surprising given this market. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I'll be back bright and early tomorrow